everyone, Charlene here. Today we're going to do some fun but super easy paper stitching, so don't worry. I'm starting off here by showing you some of the new stitching dies from Honeybee Stamps. This first one here, this is the one we're going to use. It is called In Stitches Heart. There is also this lovely daisy, as well as a shooting star, a cute bee, and then a candle. This would be perfect for a birthday, and then these cute little buttons. And you can see here there's a layering guide that shows all of those different dies and how they come together. Really, really adorable. We're also going to be working with some paper embroidery hoops. Now there are two different products here. They're both really awesome. There is this shaped embroidery hoops, and you can see there's like a rectangle and an oval. And then there's also this awesome set here, which is big circles. And what is so cool about this is you can die cut out circles that have the stitch areas so that you could stitch whatever you wanted to on the paper if you wanted to go that route. So I said we were working with the hearts. Let's get back on track here. You can stitch these together or you can stitch them separately and layer them. Let's start out by cutting them out from some colored cardstock. I have here some fuchsia, some pink, and some peach. So I'll go ahead and cut out these 3 hearts. You can see in the layering guide here that you can stitch the hearts together if you want to. I'm actually going to stitch each of the hearts individually, so that way I have more stitching because I prefer how it looks like that, but you could do it any way that you want. Just depends on what you're going for. I have here some multicolor embroidery floss. I've chosen a nice complementary color. It's this khaki green color, so we're working with pinks and peaches. That's gonna go really well with the green family, and it's almost kind of a greenish gold, and it looks beautiful when it's finished. I've cut a pretty long length of embroidery floss here. There are 6 strands in an embroidery floss thread. So I separate that out in half so that I'm only working with 3. It just depends on how thick you want your stitches to look on the paper. So I separate it by just kind of putting my finger in the middle and pulling down. I'm going to thread this here through my needle. It is a blunt end needle. I'm not sure what kind, but it works great for paper stitching. And I'll take the needle through the back of the smallest heart, and I'm going to pull it all the way through until there's a tiny little tail sitting there at the end. And then I'll use a small piece of low tack tape to tape that to the back of the heart. Then I'm just going to go all the way around the heart, going over and under through all of the pierced holes. Once I've gone all the way around, I'm going to come back in the opposite direction and I'm going to stitch all the way around again, and that's going to fill in all of the missing stitches. Once I've gone all the way back around again, I'm going to tape off that second tail on the back of the heart, and once I have taped it off here with my tape, I can then come in with my scissors and trim off any of the excess thread. So here's our cute finished little first heart. I'm going to repeat the process here with the center of the next heart. I've gone all the way around. Now I'm going to go back again in the opposite direction, and there are lots of different ways that you can do the stitching, so it just depends on how you want to do it. This is what's easy for me, so give this a try, or maybe you have more experience than me with stitching and know a better way to do it. Here's our finished second heart. It's so cute, and you'll see now the first one layered over that middle heart, how cute it looks with all that extra stitching. So I'm going to move on now here to the third heart. I've gone all the way around one time, and now I'll go back in the opposite direction, did the same things on that last heart, and now here they are all layered together. I want these to have some dimension, so I added some foam tape to the largest of the hearts, and then I'm going to layer the middle one over the top of it. I'll do the same thing here with a small heart. I've added foam tape on the back of it, and I will just layer it right over the middle heart. So here is our finished stitched and layered heart. Looks so cute. Next, we're going to assemble our embroidery hoop base. So I've cut out all my pieces. I'm going to show you where I cut them from. So I used that large die in white, and then I cut out 2 of these circle dies here in ivory. And then I'm going to take this smaller circle die and I'm going to cut out the center of one of those ivory pieces. This will make more sense as I start putting things together. So it's because we're working with the perforated paper and I want there to be a rim of the ivory going around that. So I've cut that out now. It's a little top piece you can see, so it's going to layer over that base ivory piece. We'll put our perforated paper there that we've created on top, and then I can layer the ring going around it. Now here's a little tip if you get this die, which makes the whole process so much easier, is to cut it so that you have your die at the bottom and then your paper on top. So essentially flip your whole thing over, and then once everything has die cut, keep your paper in the die and use something with pokey bristles like that to get out all of the little dots, and just do it over a trash can. It makes the process super, super fast. Lastly, for the little pin portion here, I have die cut that from some brushed gold cardstock. So pretty. We'll get a little bit of shimmer on our card. So I can go ahead and layer this together now. I'll start by adding some liquid glue around the edge of the solid circle piece. Then I'll layer the perforated piece right over the top here. You could do a really fun kind of coordinating color back behind there as well. So like you could do pink, and that would look really cool with the pink hearts over the top of it. I didn't want to detract from the hearts, so I chose not to for this card, but it would make a fun statement. So I added some glue around the rim piece that we created, and I'm gonna adhere that now on top of the perforated piece. There's a little notch area. I'm gonna put some glue on each side there on the rim, and then I can use a wax pickup tool to pick up the 2 larger pieces that are going to create our pin and place them on either side of the little notch here. And then once that is on there, I'll flip the whole piece over, add a few dots of glue to the parts that are extending outside, and I'll take our little gold pin there, flip it over, and adhere it right over those pieces. And so you'll see it looks so cute, right? Like, I love what you can do with dies. It's just amazing. Now we can put together everything. I've got some strong double-sided tape here. You could use liquid glue, but I thought it would make the process a lot easier because you've got all that stitching on the back there. I'll remove the release tape and then just lay it directly over where I want it to be on the embroidery hoop. This would look cute at an angle as well. And I'm going to glue it directly to the back piece. You could pop that up with foam tape as well, but I've already got quite a bit of dimension, so I didn't want to add any more on those back layers. For our sentiment, I'm going to use the So Glad stamps and dies. These are adorable. You've got quilted with love, you're so cute, so glad. I'm using thanks so much, and I will stamp this out here on some white cardstock, and I'm using a bright pink ink, so it's going to coordinate really well with that outer border of our heart. Flip this over and add some pressure, lift this up, and then I can go ahead and cut the whole thing out with the coordinating die. For the background, I chose this super cute piece of patterned paper that goes really well with our colors. This is part of the little freebie pack that is available with a certain purchase amount over on the Honeybee Stamps website. I'm going to add some glue to the back of our embroidery hoop piece that we created, and I'm going to glue this so that the edges come off a little bit on the back there. Now I am trimming off the sides, but you could leave them on there if you wanted to. I wanted this to still fit in an A2 sized envelope. Adding glue here to the back of our finished piece, and I'm going to adhere it to a top folding A2 sized card. I'm using my die pick here just to lift up some of the edges of that back piece. I think it looks really fun with those kind of curled up just slightly. Adding some foam squares here to the back of my sentiment, and I'm going to put it so that it's right next to the heart. Now this could be done and finishing cute as is. But I'm going to take this needle die here and cut this out from that same brushed gold cardstock. There's a cute little needle. This is from the Lovely Layers stitching elements, so lots of fun coordinating dies that work with everything else I've used today. I have a little piece of leftover thread here, so I'm going to thread it through my paper needle. And I kind of have an idea of how I want this thread to go. So I've laid it out on the left-hand side, kind of looping around in a couple of different little places there. And I'm going to start here by adding a dot of glue in a few different places back behind the thread, and then just holding it there carefully while it dries, and then I will glue down my needle. I waited to glue my needle last because I wanted to make sure the thread was in the spots where I wanted it. Then I trimmed off the tails, and here's our super cute finished sewing themed card. Anybody who is crafty would absolutely love this. I hope you all picked up some tips and tricks today. Please be sure to like and subscribe, as well as hit the notification bell so that you'll know about future videos here on the Honeybee Stamps YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.